This is steak haché and it looks suspiciously like a fancy burger, but it's not what you think because it's cooked and treated like a steak, not a burger. I'm just saying if you want to make a burger out of it and use the peppercorn sauce for dipping, I would support you in that decision. We're going to be making the bistro version of this dish, so I'm starting with 600 grams of various steak from the butcher. I've also got about 100 grams of fat to make things juicy. Optionally, you can salt this and leave it for a few hours or overnight in the fridge. That's going to dry it out a little bit more and make this whole thing juicier. You can use a mincer for the meat and the fat, which is what I'm going to be doing, but you can also hand chop it if you'd prefer. Now, if you didn't season the meat the night before, you'll want to season this mix with salt now, and you'll be able to get 4 good-sized burgers out of this. Sorry, steaks. They're definitely steaks. I'm certainly going to cook them like steaks, so we'll go into the pan with some beef fat, then in with the steaks and turn them as they release from the pan to build a good crust. I'm going for medium rare, which I can do safely because I use good quality steak for this bistro version. And it's different from what I'm told is a very normal after-school kids meal, which uses regular beef mince and must be cooked to medium. Towards the end of cooking, turn the heat right down to low and add in some butter, garlic, thyme and rosemary. Put those on to rest whilst you make the sauce. Now, if you're worried about them getting cold, you can put them in a 50 Celsius oven. They'll easily be good in there for 30 minutes if needed. So to build this sauce, we'll start with that wonderful flavour in the pan and then add some finely chopped shallots. Once they're translucent, grate or mince in some garlic. Earlier, I roughly ground some peppercorns, so I'll add those. And you want to toast them off for about a minute or so until they're beautifully fragrant. Then you'll want to add a splash of cognac. I'll flambe that because I'm filming this stuff, but if you're scared, don't bother. There's no real benefit to it other than showing off. Add a good quality beef stock that's low in salt. If it's too salty, reducing will make the final dish very salty. Follow that up with some cream and reduce the whole thing to the desired consistency. Now, I usually like to keep the gubbins in the sauce, but I'm going for authentic here, so I'll strain that sauce into a smaller pan. And I'll put a link to these pans I'm using in the description. At this stage, I'll add some green peppercorns and a little bit of the brine they come in. You can easily order these online. Turn off the heat, and if you want a bit of extra glossiness to the sauce, treat yourself to a little bit of extra butter. Finish that with some freshly cut parsley and you're good to serve. Now, I do like enough sauce to cover the plate, and I serve with some homemade French fries. Okay, I couldn't do this without actually turning it into a burger. It's quite the experience. Now, I know there's a bit of a brioche burger backlash happening at the moment, but I'm going to die on this hill. I love them, but honestly, just use whatever one you want. Now I'm going to make a quick burger sauce with some Kewpie mayo, ketchup or tomato paste, touch of vinegar, mustard powder, some smoked paprika, ground black pepper and salt to taste. Also, I kept some of the juices from the steak. I'm going to sneak those in as well. That goes onto the base of the toasted bun. On with the steak burger. I'm using Emmental cheese with a quick blowy to melt it. Top that with some pickles, maybe some crispy shallots. Now this is the move. Dip this thing in the peppercorn sauce for a god tier flavor experience. I've put the full recipe in the description for you, and do let me know if you've got any questions because I'd love to help you experience this most delicious of burgers, steaks.